Hello, welcome back to the Board Games 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs and maybe unboxings. We haven't done an unboxing for quite a while, but we do them, and we generally talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a game we just pulled it out recently actually, and we couldn't believe that it's actually 6 years old. We're talking about Black Fleet, another pirate game that we have decided to play recently. We're going to talk about this, and in this game you will be sailing the seven seas, trying to pick up goods and deliver them to islands whilst trying to avoid the Royal Navy and other players' pirate ships to gain money that will allow you to complete these mission cards that will allow you to ultimately win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, don't like, and then we'll come back and we will tell you whether or not Black Fleet is worth picking up today so you can play it in the future, right? So remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel, leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you after this. So Black Fleet, how do you play this game? So in this game everybody is going to take a merchant ship and they're going to take a pirate ship. A merchant ship can carry 3 goods and a pirate ship can carry 1 good, right? And you'll place your pirate ship at one of the port locations on the board, and you'll take 3 goods cubes and you'll stick them in your ship, and all the goods cubes have to be the same colour, right? So each player will be given a set of development cards that will cost a certain amount of money to complete. They'll also get a certain number of doubloons, and the doubloons are these lovely metal coins that are fantastic. So you'll also take the deck of movement cards and you will deal 2 to each player, and you'll also shuffle the deck of fortune cards and you will deal 1 to each player, right? On your turn you will reveal 1 of your 2 movement cards, and then you will resolve it in any way that you see fit. So you might be able to move the navy ships, right? And there's a yellow and a purple navy ship, and it'll tell you how many spaces you can move. You might be able to move 1 or 2 or both, right? So the movement cards might tell you to move your pirate ship, and at the beginning of the game your pirate ship doesn't start on the board. It'll start in one of the 4 corners off the board, and then you'll put your pirate ship on one of the 4 corners, and then you will move your pirate ship that number of spaces that's on one of these cards, right? So if you want to move your merchant ship, you will look at your movement card that you played and you'll move your merchant ship that number of spaces. And also at the bottom there's this little pirate geezer who has got his arms stretched out. He's probably chasing a donut, but it tells you whether or not you can draw a certain number of fortune cards, and you can only have a maximum of 3 fortune cards, and then you'll have to discard any extra ones that you pick up along the way. So fortune cards in this game give you special abilities. You might have the whirlwind card, which allows you to swap the position of 2 adjacent ships. This card may be played during the movement of a ship. You might be able to get hold of the secret orders, and this says if your navy ship doesn't move, gain 2 doubloons. If you can move both navy ships but move neither, gain 3 doubloons, right? Or you might have the lucky wind card, which tells you to move any one ship, merchant or pirate, belonging to your opponent up to 2 spaces. You can't take any action of any kind during this move. So these fortune cards do radically alter the flow of the game. So if the navy ship is moved next to the pirate ship, then the pirate ship is sunk and the player will gain 2 doubloons. So if a pirate ship is next to a merchant ship, then the pirate ship will nick a goods cube from that merchant ship and they will gain 2 doubloons. And if the merchant ship gets to its destination, or which is one of the ports which has that colour of goods on it, they'll offload the goods and then they'll load goods of another colour onto the merchant ship. You'll get the number of doubloons that is indicated on the port in the colour that you're offloading. So during your turn you'll also have the option of completing some of your development cards. You'll pay the money and then you'll turn the cards over, and you will need to complete all of the development cards before you complete the victory card that's going to cost you either 10 for the short game or 20 for the long game. So each of the development cards is different. You're going to randomly assign players a different development card based on the different decks that you've got. Remove a good from the attack merchant. This action earns you 3 doubloons. Your merchant does not receive the good. This is an action, right? You might have false colours, which says that before any movement you may swap the position of your pirate and your navy ship, right? So these are even more powerful than the fortune cards, and yeah, they really do change the game. They really do ramp up the tension in this game. So the game ends when one person completes their victory card. You will complete the round so everybody has the same amount of turns, and if there's a tie, then the player with the most doubloons will be the winner of Black Fleet. So what do we like about Black Fleet? So the first thing that we really like about this game is the absolutely fantastic components. Oh my God, Space Cowboys have knocked it out the park. Not only do you get those wonderful ship miniatures, you've got a really colourful board, but you've got the fantastic coins that are included with this game. It is one of the best looking games we have seen in a long time. For the time, 2014, this game, it looked absolutely fantastic. So the second thing that we like about this game is a simple rule set. It's a very basic pick up and deliver game, you know. So you're just going to be basically focusing more often than not on your merchants and getting them to and from the different locations that are going to give you the most points. And it's worked out quite well on the board because the most lucrative spots are further away, so you are going to want to go there. Yeah? So yeah, it's a very simple rule set, and the rule book is actually really good. So the third thing we like about this is the abundance of variable card abilities. The fact that each development card gives you a different special ability is absolutely amazing. And also, if you couple that with the really varied fortune cards that sort of change the game, you've got a nice contrast between working towards your development cards and the random nature of the way that the fortune cards come out. So yeah, we really like that. So what don't we like about Black Fleet? So the first thing that we don't like about Black Fleet is the push me pull you, the tug of war thing you're going to be doing with the Navy. You know, it really can be a pain in the neck because it's one of them things where you're saying, I'm going to move the yellow Navy ship 2 spaces towards you, and then the next player will get the Navy ship and they'll move it 2 spaces back, and it'll just be going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. No. So the second thing we don't like about Black Fleet is it can get a bit dull trying to avoid those bloody pirates, and because there's no mandatory movement with the pirates, you can move them up to a certain number of spaces. You could just dump your pirate there, not move them, rely on the other players using the Navy to block other spaces, and there's no way that you can get around it. So there's a lot of fluid movement with these different pieces on the board. It's very frustrating trying to navigate through this sort of moving landscape, if you know what I mean. So the third thing that we don't like about Black Fleet is that if you do get caught by the Navy or pirate ship more than once, that is going to basically take you out of the game. There's not really much you can do to recover from that other than hope that another player is going to suffer the same fate, or that you're going to get some decent fortune cards that are going to allow you to come back. And I don't think if you do get caught out once or twice or 3 times, there is no way back into this game, and that's really disappointing. So the final point that we want to make about what we don't like about this game is that we found that there is more often than not a runaway leader with this, based on the previous point that we made about losing something that you've built up here. You see, you spend half the time trying to navigate around the islands and trying to avoid other players, but if you do get caught and they take your stuff, then you're not going to be able to get back into the game, but somebody else will be too far away. And it's almost like a 6-pointer in football, you know. You're sort of equal, but if you lose that battle, you're going to end up with a 6-point gap between you. So it's very disappointing. So to summarise, is Black Fleet worth playing today and in the future? And we're going to say, yes, I suppose it is. It all depends, doesn't it? You know, if you've got a young family and you're looking for just a very simple that you can wow your kids with the fantastic miniatures and the fantastic money and the components and all that sort of stuff, then Black Fleet is definitely a game that you should consider. As with most of these games with the fantastic components in this kind of price bracket, I'm always a little bit suspicious as to whether or not that sort of gloss, that bling, is hiding weak mechanics. And in this case, I think it is. You know, the fact that you've got that random card draw again, that is going to sort of dictate how and what you move, and also what cards are going to come into your hand, those fortune cards. That's very weak as well. But it's also good to see that this game isn't dice driven like some of the other very light pirate games like Pirates Cove, you know, so it's all dependent on card play. But we're going to give Black Fleet 3 out of 5. The component quality does bring this up, but the light nature and the random nature and the sort of the way the game can get quite dull brings it down. But it's still a very average game that we do kind of enjoy now and again with my kids and my wife. So yeah, that's Black Fleet. So remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel, leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you next time.